Moms and dads, as promised, starting from smallest to tallest, we're going to go through and review these bikes. We're going to talk about what makes each one of them different, what the price points are on them. You know, they're kind of changing as the months go by and as something new comes out, sales, promotions, and I would assume that with the holiday coming up, there's probably going to be some Black Friday stuff. Everybody's going to have things on sale. So this in here is the one that started all this. This bike right here, this MotoTec Demon, it's this fault that all the rest of these are here. What do I mean by that? We bought this for Kai as a 6th birthday present. And what we didn't realize was how fast this damn thing went. And that caused us to have a little bit of fear. I have a video up that talks about this. Go watch that. I'll put a link for it in. But at the end of the day, it was electric versus gas. We went back and forth multiple times. So we'll start with this one. These are kind of equivalent to the Rawrr bikes. It's called a MotoTec. In my opinion, it's a way better brand than Rawrr. You know, when we bought these, we really wanted to make sure that we weren't going to annoy the neighbors. We do live in a subdivision, as you can see, plenty of them around, and we don't want to be riding these things late at night, making a ton of racket. You know, in terms of size-wise, you're looking at 36 volts on this 500 watt. I don't even know if you can get this bike anymore. I think they've moved up to a 48 volt, which is the same size as this Mantis Mini right here when it comes to the voltage and everything. If you're going to go with a electric bike, you want to stay smaller and within means, go with the 48 volt stuff, 1000 watt. I think you can get these up into a 16, even maybe a 2000 watt right now. Your child is going to grow. And again, price points, I'll try to find the prices on these as we go through and I post this video so you kind of get an idea of what you're looking at. But that's probably your least expensive bike right there. That in comparison with these used. Now, this is the first one that we have that's gas. This is the SSR 70. I'm going to pull it out for you real quick. There it is out on its own. And while we were filming, Muhammad pulled up on his 110 Raptor. So we'll discuss this too, because this may be an option or something your child's asking about as well. But on these gas bikes, we didn't initially go with this. They are loud. You have noise out of this. It's not something that you can just pipe around on it late at night or whatnot, or even in maybe your neighborhood where your neighbors don't like listening to it. So we were apprehensive about getting one of these, but after so many asks and wants, we decided we'd shoot for it and try. And these aren't expensive. Brand new, you're looking at $1,400. Used market that's in great shape, you can probably pick up for around $600 to $700. This is a 70cc, it's not a 50, but again, this is a good bike for someone who's, you know, 7, 8, 9 years old. I would suggest either one of these right here for a 6 to 8, 9-year-old, depending on how big they are. The thing with the MotoTec is once they reach up to 50, 60 pounds and they're on this small of a bike, they're going to want to get into something a little bigger, which is where Kai ended up with this. Now, this is probably too much bike for Kai at this point, but he'll be able to ride his clear up into over 100 pounds. So top speed on this bike, I believe we can get it up to 38, maybe 40 miles per hour. But Kai only weighs like 45, 50, maybe 52 pounds, I think. Your kids start getting a little bigger, you're going to want to look at something like the next bike we're going to talk about. And here it is. This is the Yozma N10. This bike right here, again, this is not ours. This is Pierce's. Pierce lives up the street from us. Great kid. He rides around quite a bit. He's been wanting one of these for a long time. And this is where I was able to help Pierce's mom make a decision on what to get. She was bouncing around between several options. This bike at the time, it didn't even exist when we were talking. Maybe it existed, but it wasn't on the market. And she found it. I started looking at it. Nobody had anything up on YouTube about the Yozma. Initially, and maybe he'll talk about this when I get him on mic, he wanted the Altis Sigma, which is that last bike over there. And I let him look at the Altis and sit on it. And he realized quickly that that's too much bike for Pierce. That's actually too much bike for a lot of people. That thing's not a toy. I don't think any of these are really toys. I wouldn't classify them as toys, but this bike it's very new to the market. It's unique, and there's tons of videos, like I said, on it where you can find details. But I was lucky enough to get Pierce to cameo for this. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk to Pierce and ask Pierce what he was looking at when he initially decided to get this bike and ask for this one for his birthday, why Pierce changed his mind, and what Pierce thinks about this now. So Pierce, how old are you?
I'm 11.
Pierce is 11. Okay. Pierce, how tall are you?
4'10".
So if you're around the 4 foot to 5 foot range, yeah, this bike might be an option. And actually, it's a really great option. Pierce, what kind of bike were you looking at when you decided to get this?
Before this?
Yep.
An Altis Sigma.
Yep. Pierce was looking at the Altis.
Yep.
He checked mine out and decided real quick that may not be the right idea, right?
Yeah.
You found this bike, Pierce. What was the draw to it? What made you decide to want this one?
It was way smaller and more affordable. And
Yeah. What's the top speed you've had this at?
41.
41. Pierce has had this at 41. Now, that is definitely quicker than this bike right here. I think top speed on this MotoTec, you're going to get probably 20, 25 in the beginning, but eventually you're going to lose speed because the batteries do degrade a little bit. And I think Kai's probably pulling a top speed of maybe 15 to 20 at this point. Pierce, you want to sit on that real quick so we can show everybody kind of what you look like and how you fit on it?
Yeah.
Here's Pierce at 410. Pierce, what do you weigh?
85 or 80.
Okay, he's under 100 pounds. Like I said, these are great bikes for kids, I should say, that are, younger, that don't weigh that much. That's one thing you want to make sure that you're getting a bike. Now, the cool thing about the Yozma, there are adults riding this bike, and you'll find that when you start looking at these online and start doing some research. There's a lot of guys that are 5'7" to 6'2", 6'3" riding these things because they're able to fit on them, and they make them strong enough that you can see the suspension on this. It's not a joke. This is not something that is just a kid's toy. You've got full forks on this, disc brakes. This bike is built really well, and the price point, again, is extremely easy to deal with. This is probably becoming one of my favorite bikes. We're all discussing right now whether we're going to keep these dirt tires on. I did put new tires on my bike, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. But I think we're all probably going to end up with street tires. Reason being is because we don't have a lot of trails out here to ride on. And the big thing with riding these on the street is these tires, they'll get chewed up quick. You can't really do much with them. It just all depends on the tire. A lot of times your range decreases on these knobbies, and when it's wet or very cold outside, these things don't hold up. I can tell you that because I fell. So we're going to move on to the next one. All right, next up, we've got Muhammad here with his 110 Raptor. Now, Muhammad kind of maybe started this whole trend with us because he was on the Razor Dirt Quad 500. And I think you had a Razor dirt bike too, didn't you, at one point?
Yeah.
Muhammad's graduated to the Yamaha Raptor. Now, this thing's killer. It's in a class of its own. It is a gas quad. It is made by Yamaha. Muhammad got this brand new. So new, in fact, that he couldn't go very fast for the break-in period. He had to run around here with a governor on it so that he didn't mess it up. But Yamaha makes a great bike. They make killer dirt bikes. They make really everything they're good at. Again, if this is something that you're interested, your kids looking at, we can talk a little bit more about this in a minute in terms of price and what they look at. But let's talk age, weight, height, all that stuff. Muhammad, how old are you?
I'm 9.
Muhammad's 9. Muhammad, how tall are you?
About 4 or 5. Around
About 4'5".
range. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say 4'5", 4'7". And then you know how much you weigh?
95 to 100 pounds.
Okay, Muhammad's right about that 100-pound mark. Now, the cool thing about Muhammad's size is any of these bikes right here, except for that 72-volt Rawrr and up, he can ride these. Any of these he will fit on. So if your child is, approaching 100 pounds or they're just a little over, these are all good options. Muhammad, you want to sit up on your four-wheeler real quick?
Yeah.
We'll get a chance to see kind of how he stances on this, what he looks like on it. So that you can tell at his height, at his size, that fits him just fine. I've sat on his bike. I've seen other kids that are taller sit on Muhammad's quad. Muhammad, let's talk a little bit about this bike. You don't really know what the top speed is because there's no speedometer, but what do you think you probably hit? 40, 50 miles an hour on this?
Yeah, if it's like really steep hill, then I would probably hit about 52 miles per hour.
About 52.
But on flat surface, then 40 miles per hour.
Yeah, and then having this versus electric, what do you think about having the electric stuff? Because we've got all the electric stuff right now, except for that one gas dirt bike. But you've had both. What do you like the best?
They're both like equal, but I have to be honest. The electric ones are way more silent, and you can ride it anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the speed in terms of getting to the top speed? You might get a little bit faster on a gas.
Yeah, but it's way funner to cruise around in the electric.
Yeah, the electric stuff, it gets to the top speed a lot quicker. So in a short race, the electric might win, but long term, the gas probably gets it. Muhammad's great on this thing. He rides this all over the neighborhood with the kids. We really enjoy having everybody around here. One of these days, we'll try to get all the bikes from everybody out, and there's more coming. So I know that for a fact for this first video. Muhammad, you got anything else you want to say?
Yeah, it's really good with on-roading and off-roading.
It is.
Definitely good with off-roading.
It is. We've got some videos of Muhammad jumping out there. He gets air. There's no joke about it. This dude, he flies on this thing.
Yeah.
This is not a toy. This isn't something that you're gonna get your 4-year-old and hope that they don't go out and mess something up with themselves. So keep that in mind as you guys are thinking about these and looking at them. Muhammad's probably got more experience on these bikes and these things than most of us do, simply because he's been riding them a lot longer than anybody else. But we'll see what Muhammad ends up with next. He looks like he might be going back to an electric, but we'll see. He's kind of going back and forth trying to make a decision on a dirt bike or electric dirt bike or what he's going to do next. Muhammad, thanks for being on the video for us.
You're welcome.
All right. Okay, next up is this Rawrr Mantis. This is Ethan's. I don't know where Ethan's at. He decided he wanted to hide out while we did this video. But this is, again, the 48 volt. Now, I think Rawrr has discontinued these. I don't have confirmation on that, but what I don't see is them up for sale anymore. Rawrr has moved on to the Mini R, which is a 72 volt, I believe. It could be 60. I'll have to fact check myself, but I think it's a 72 volt. It comes in 2 different options. It comes in the same wheel size that this has on it, which is a 14-12, or you can get the 17, which is a 17-inch wheel. So these things, the 48 volt, there's several of them out there. This is probably most comparable to the Yozma. Once again, the Yozma and the Rawrr are great bikes. I was talking about those two earlier. The difference in manufacturing, I haven't really broken down the Yozma to see, but as far as the Rawrr is concerned, this is a very well-built bike. Do I regret spending the money on it? No. Now, had I had the choice at the time when I bought this to buy a Yozma, I probably would have done that instead. Reason being, that bike right there, that Yozma, is half the price of this bike. I think after we paid for shipping and taxes, we were close to that $3,000 mark on this guy. And, you can get a Yozma for less than half of that. So the dependability on this, though, what I'll tell you is, and this is with all these things, customer support. I don't care who you are, what you think you're going to be doing with these. If your kid's riding these bikes, they're going to break something. They are going to have parts they're going to need. Something's going to fail, and you're going to need to call customer support, email customer support. And the thing about Rawrr, I have spoken to them multiple times on the phone. I have emailed back and forth with their support initially whenever I bought this one and my wife's 72 volt over there. They picked the phone up. They're in the United States. They're in California. They talk to you. They know what they're doing. They email back. And that is worth the money when you're going to spend the money on something like this. Having someone actually pick the phone up and helping you with support, it goes a long way. So just because the bike's cheaper, like a Tudio, I don't know who you're going to call if something messes up with that. Now, are there things out there aftermarket that you can get in terms of parts? Absolutely. Do you know what you're doing? If you don't, I wouldn't even consider trying to mess with it. You're going to give yourself headaches, probably waste some money buying things that maybe aren't going to work fully with these. But what I can tell you about Rawrr is there's not a ton of aftermarket stuff out there for them, but they all have their parts in stock most of the time. And if not, they come back online really quick and you can actually get these things fixed. So consider that when you're looking at these bikes. This is one that I would definitely say look at, especially the Mini R17 and the Mini R are phenomenal bikes. Your kid can grow into those at the age of 10, 11, 12, all the way up to 14, 15, depending on size. Okay, next up, this is another Rawrr bike. Now, this probably doesn't look familiar to anyone unless you are a Rawrr enthusiast or you've done this yourself. However, the reason it doesn't look familiar is because I put a graphics kit. And again, I've got a video up showing how I did that. This bike right here looked identical to this one. It's just bigger when we first got it. This one has a headlight on it from factory. The Mini does not. Now, once again, I've been on the phone with Rawrr for customer support. The reason being, I messed the installation up. I messed up the brakes and had to get them fixed. That was a me thing. We'll leave that one there. But these are what they call, I think Sir Ronster did a video on it calling it the best budget bike out there. This thing's under $3,000. It's 72 volts. I personally have ridden this bike. Again, this is April's, my wife's. I've had this bike to almost 60 miles per hour. I weigh 205 pounds on a bad day. I weigh 185 on a good. So this bike is extremely easy for me to throw around. I love riding it. My wife is comfortable on it. She gets on it and has no issues and is, I'm not going to talk about her weight. She's not heavy by any means. She weighs under 150 and she's 5'10". I'll just leave it at that. But this bike, I would say if your child is anywhere over 5 foot and they weigh at least 120 to 130 pounds, this is a good choice for them. Look who made an appearance. It's Kai the Fry. Kai's going to take off on his gas bike for us real quick. And we lucked out and we got him for the video. He's got a got to get her started. So he's got to choke it. Again, you don't have to do all this on electric. You just start up and go. Turn your choke off, bub. Look who made an appearance for the video. How lucky are we? There's my wife, Miss April.
I'm here.
Again, my wife's under 150 pounds, 5'10". She rides this, believe it or not. Like I said, this is one of my favorite bikes to jump around and take off on. Real quick, Mary, to the moms out there that, you know, husbands are saying, get a bike, I'm going to get you a dirt bike. And they're saying, no, I'm scared of it. Talk to me a little bit about how your experience has been on this thing, what you thought before you got it, what you thought after you got it, and how you feel now.
Well, I was intimidated by it when I first got it because it's super fast and I've never ridden a dirt bike before. But now, being an owner, I enjoy riding them. A lot smoother than I thought it would be. Quiet, not quite as heavy as I thought it would be. The seat is fantastic, squishy. I would say it takes a little getting used to because of the throttle on it. I love it.
What'd you think when I ordered this for you?
I was scared.
Oh,
nervous.
crap.
Yeah, but you know, I ride my electric bike. It's got almost 1,000 miles on it, so I assumed it would be a little bit similar, which it's not at all. I love it. It's fun riding it. I feel cool now.
What do you say before our battery dies here and I got to plug in? What do you say to all the other moms out there that might be thinking about doing this but are scared to do it?
I mean, just give it a try. You never know.
It's fun ride with the family, right?
It totally is fun riding with the family.
Get to participate 100%.
Yes.
So, ladies, honestly, if you're out there and you're like, oh, I don't know, listen, you can get out there and ride with your kids and your husband. Dads, you guys can do this too. All right, we've got Maverick here. Maverick's going to talk to you. This guy here has been on gas dirt bikes and gas four-wheelers pretty much since he's, how old, Maverick? You've been riding forever.
I think since I was first grade-ish.
Yep.
Around that.
Pretty young,
Yeah.
so about Kai's age. Mm-hmm. His dad's got the farm up there, and he's been riding these things for a long time. Maverick was out riding dirt bikes before any of us had any around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Between him and his brother Jackson. So, Maverick, talk to me a little bit about your experience riding on gas. How often you got to work on them, the kind of stuff you got to do to maintain them.
Okay. So the thing with gas four-wheelers at my grandparents' house, and sometimes here and there you got to like fill up the gas. Sometimes you got to do an oil change. Sometimes you might run over like a thing, like a bump or something, and it'll like pop one of your tires. And it's actually, you might have to fix that and just stuff like that. And then, yeah, but other than that, for gas, I will say it's a lot different. So when you're driving, it doesn't have like much acceleration. I've ridden some electric bikes and some gas dirt bikes. Like the gas, I think gas is a lot better for speed and like that. But
Speed?
Yeah, for speed. But then electric bikes, if you want to get off if you're doing a race or something with your friends, you want to get off the gate, I think electric would probably be the better one for that.
Yeah, they get a lot faster acceleration.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. If you were snap your fingers right now and get yourself a new dirt bike, would you get a gas or electric, and which one would you get and why?
I don't know. I think I'd probably get a gas one only because it's like, I don't know. I just go for speed because like sometimes I'd race one of my friends on like his electric dirt bike, and then eventually, yeah, he would go off fast, but then I could probably catch up. So.
Yeah, another thing with gas too is you don't have to charge it up, right? Like you take off on that thing.
Yeah, like you just like if you're low on gas and before you leave, you just got to fill it up and wait till the gas. Like if you spill it, you just wait till it dries. So, like wait 20 minutes ish, and you can just get on going. Yeah,
that's definitely a huge advantage because I know there's been a lot of times Ethan's had to come home and plug his bike up if he's going to be out for a long time. Short stints, maybe you get electric. Again, if this is something that you're going to be out on all day long, gas is probably the way to go.
Yeah, 100%.
So if you could get an electric bike, which one would you look at? Which one would you probably get?
Surrons. Yep. I think those are pretty cool. Just the design on them.
What about the RTR? Do you know anything about that?
Not really. I think I've heard of it. It's just I haven't really watched any videos about it.
Got it. Surron's pretty much the one that everybody knows. It's the branded. There's tons of them out there. Tons of extra parts, stuff like that. Cool. All right, Maverick. Well, thanks for your input.
Yep, no problem.
All right. That's going to conclude part 1 of this video. I know this thing's so big, I had to break it up into 2 parts. However, I'm doing the homework and showing you all what I wish I would have been able to see before I did all this. I mean, I've got over $15,000 wrapped up out there in electric and 1 gas dirt bike. I know to some of you that's nothing. Some of you all have over 15K wrapped up in 1 surron. But I know how helpful these things are. And I think the cool thing to do on this part 2 version, as I put it together, is shoot some comments, ask questions, Tell me what you want to see next in this next video. I can pull your comments, post them, and address them specifically instead of shooting in the dark. Thanks again for watching. If you haven't subscribed, do so. Kids, if you're getting your parents to watch this video, thank you so much. It really helps, because making the decision to spend this kind of money, like that Yozma, I would have probably never considered that bike until I seen Pierce with it. And now I'm in love with it. The next couple of bikes that we have coming up, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag yet. They're going to be awesome. I know the one's really going to be sick. Hey, Snoot. Callie decided to join me in this video. Oh, and there's Bailey. You want to say hi to the camera? She doesn't even chase these things. Shoot me a comment. Let me know what you want to see next, and we'll get it in there. Yeah, you can be in the next video too. Stay tuned for part 2.